Welcome back to TokiCast, my friend. Come closer, and let me tell you a secret, so strange you may not believe it at first. Look up at the sky, it is blue. Look out at the sea, it is blue. Blue is everywhere around you. It may be the color of your jeans, your screen, a favorite shirt. It seems like the most natural, obvious color in the world. But here is the strange, true thing for almost all of human history. Blue barely existed. Ancient peoples, all over the world, had no real word for it. The oldest, greatest stories ever written, tales of heroes and gods, of oceans and skies, describe the sea as wine dark, the sky as bronze or silver, but almost never as blue. It is as if, for thousands of years, humanity looked up at that vast blue sky every single day and could not quite see it. Blue was the last color we learned to name, the hardest color to make, and one of the strangest stories hidden in plain sight. Take a slow breath and let me show you the hidden history of the color blue. An ancient world where the greatest poets never once described the sky as blue. A precious stone ground into a paint so costly it was worth more than gold, reserved for the robes of a queen of heaven. A hunt across centuries for a blue that would not fade, and an accident in a laboratory that finally gave the whole world its most beloved color. Almost nobody knows that blue has a story at all. Stay with me, and you will never look at the sky or the sea the same way again. If this gives you a little wonder and a little understanding, leave a like and subscribe. It means everything to us here at TokiCast. Let us begin with the strangest mystery of all, the mystery of the missing color. Long ago, scholars studying the most ancient writings noticed something bizarre. In the oldest epic poems of ancient Greece, thousands of years old, the poet describes the sea again and again, but never as blue. He calls it the wine-dark sea. He describes sheep as the color of violets and honey as green. But in all those thousands of lines, the sky is never once called blue. And it was not just the Greeks. Scholars looked at other ancient cultures and found the same strange pattern. In old texts across the world, from ancient India, from the early Middle East, from ancient civilizations everywhere, the words for black, white, and red appear first and most often, then yellow and green. But blue comes last of all, if it comes at all. Some ancient languages had no word for blue whatsoever. So what does this mean, my friend? Were ancient people somehow blind to blue? Almost certainly not. Their eyes were the same as yours. But here is the fascinating truth, that scholars now believe it is very hard to truly see a color, to notice it and think about it until you have a name for it. And humans were slow to name blue for one simple, powerful reason. Blue is astonishingly rare in the natural world. Think about it. There are almost no blue foods. Blue flowers are uncommon, and even most of them are really a shade of purple. Blue animals are rare. The two great blue things, the sky and the sea, are not solid objects you can hold or point to or paint with. They are vast, distant, and strangely, they are not really blue at all in the way a blue stone is. They only appear blue because of the way light scatters. So for most cultures, there was simply no everyday blue thing to name. And what you cannot easily name, you struggle to truly see. Blue was hiding in plain sight, in the largest things in the world, and humanity looked straight through it for thousands of years. And here is a wonder worth pausing on. Why is the sky blue at all, and why is the sea? The answer is stranger than you might think, and it is the very reason blue was so hard to grasp. The sky is not a blue thing, the way a painted wall is blue. When sunlight, which is actually made of all colors mixed together, comes pouring into the air around our planet, it strikes countless tiny molecules. And blue light, because of its particular nature, gets scattered and bounced around the sky far more than the other colors. So when you look up, you are seeing blue light scattered across the whole dome of the heavens. The sky is not blue, it is simply throwing blue light at your eyes from every direction. And the sea? It is not truly blue either. It largely reflects the sky, and it also drinks in the red part of sunlight while scattering back the blue. So the two greatest blue things in your entire world are not solid blue objects at all. They are a trick of light, a color with no substance you could ever hold. No wonder the ancients struggled to name a color they could never actually touch. The first people to truly break this spell were the ancient Egyptians. And this is where our story turns to genius. The Egyptians loved the color blue. They saw it in rare, precious stones, and they longed to capture it. So, thousands of years ago, they did something remarkable. They invented it. By heating sand and copper and other minerals together in just the right way, they created the world's very first man-made blue, a rich, beautiful pigment we now call Egyptian blue. It is often considered the first synthetic color ever made by human hands. They used it to paint their tombs, their statues, and the images of their gods. While much of the world still had no word for blue, the Egyptians were already manufacturing it. They had reached out and grabbed a piece of the sky. Let me share one more forgotten marvel, a blue so remarkable it puzzled scientists for decades. Far across the world, the ancient Maya civilization created their own extraordinary blue, which we now call Maya blue. What made it astonishing was its endurance. While most ancient colors have faded and crumbled over the centuries, Maya blue has survived for over 1,000 years, still vivid and bright on ancient walls and pottery, resisting time, weather, and even strong acids. For a long time, no one could understand how an ancient people had made a color more durable than almost anything modern chemistry could produce. It was a lost recipe, a piece of forgotten genius. It reminds us, my friend, that our ancestors were not simple or primitive. They were clever, patient, and endlessly inventive, sometimes discovering secrets that we, with all our science, have struggled to rediscover. But the most famous, most precious blue of all came not from a laboratory, but from a stone and from a single, remote place on Earth. High in the harsh mountains of what is now Afghanistan, there was a rare and stunning blue stone called lapis lazuli. Its deep, heavenly blue, flecked with tiny sparks of gold, was so beautiful that it was treasured beyond almost anything. This stone was carried by traders thousands of miles across the ancient world, and it was worth a fortune. But then someone discovered how to grind this precious stone into a powder and turn it into a paint, and that paint, called ultramarine, became the most expensive color in the history of art. Let me tell you just how precious it was. Ultramarine was, at times, worth more than its weight in gold. It was so costly that painters could not simply use it whenever they wished. In the great paintings of old Europe, artists had to save this heavenly blue for only the most sacred and important figure in the picture, and above all, for the robes of the Virgin Mary, the Queen of Heaven. That is why, in so many old masterpieces, she is wrapped in the most stunning, glowing blue. It was not a random choice. It was a statement of supreme value, the most precious color on earth, for the most honored figure in the painting. Patrons who commissioned paintings would specify in their contracts exactly how much of this ruinously expensive blue the artist was allowed to use. Can you imagine a color so valuable that its use had to be written into a legal contract? And the hunt for blue did not stop there. For all its beauty, blue remained a problem, because good, affordable, lasting blue was still so hard to find. And then, as so often in this story, an accident changed everything. In the early 1700s, A color maker in Berlin was trying to create a red pigment, but his materials had become contaminated, and instead of the red he expected, his mixture suddenly turned a deep, brilliant, beautiful blue. It was a complete accident. This new color became known as Prussian blue, and it was wonderful. It was rich and strong. It did not fade easily, and, most importantly, it was far, far cheaper than grinding up precious lapis lazuli. For the first time, a deep, reliable blue was available to ordinary artists and ordinary people. This accidental blue spread across the world and was used in countless famous paintings. Sometimes, my friend, the greatest treasures arrive entirely by mistake. But there was one deep, rich blue that people could wear, and it carries a dark and painful history. It came from a plant, and the dye it produced was called indigo. For centuries, indigo gave the world its most treasured blue cloth, so valued in trade that it was sometimes called blue gold. But growing and processing indigo was brutal, back-breaking work, and as Europe's hunger for this blue grew, that labor was forced, in many places, onto enslaved and oppressed people, toiling in terrible conditions on distant plantations to feed the world's love of blue cloth. In parts of India under colonial rule, farmers were forced to grow indigo instead of the food their families needed, under such cruelty that it eventually sparked protest and resistance. So the next time you see a deep blue fabric, remember this beauty and suffering are woven together all through the history of this color. The blue that clothed the world was too often paid for with the pain of the forgotten, and the story reached its final chapter with the age of science and industry. Chemists learned to create bright, cheap, lasting blue dyes in their laboratories. And suddenly, the color that had once been rarer than gold, the color reserved for queens of heaven, became available to absolutely everyone. It could color the clothes of ordinary working people, and this brings us to perhaps the most familiar blue in all your life, the blue of your jeans. That humble, everyday blue in the denim so many of us wear was born from this long human hunt for an affordable, lasting blue. The color that ancient poets could not even name now sits, casually, on the legs of billions of people every single day. And here is a final surprise that reaches right into the modern world you live in. For a very long time, even after we had blue paints and blue dyes, there was one kind of blue we simply could not make blue light itself, the pure glowing blue needed for modern screens and lighting. Scientists could create red light and green light with ease, but a bright, efficient blue light remained frustratingly out of reach for years and years. It was such a difficult problem that when 3 scientists finally cracked it and invented the blue light-emitting diode, or blue LED, they were awarded one of the highest honors in all of science, the Nobel Prize. Think about that. The blue glow shining out of the phone or the screen you may be looking at right now was so hard to create that it earned its inventors the Nobel Prize in our own lifetimes. Blue, the color that took humanity thousands of years even to name, was still keeping its final secrets right up until recent years. From a color the ancients could not see, to the glowing blue light of every screen on Earth, this most elusive of colors has been quietly leading us forward all along. And nature keeps blue's secret in an even stranger way. Have you ever seen a brilliant blue butterfly, or the shimmering blue feathers of a peacock, or a bright blue bird? Here is the astonishing truth: almost none of them actually contain any blue coloring at all. There is barely any true blue pigment in the animal world. Instead, these creatures perform a kind of magic trick. Their wings and feathers are built with microscopic structures, tinier than you could ever see, that bend and scatter light in just the right way to throw back only the color blue to your eyes. It is not paint, it is architecture. Crush a brilliant blue butterfly's wing to powder, and the blue vanishes, because it was never a pigment, only a clever trick of shape and light. Even in nature, my friend, blue is not quite a color you can hold. It is almost always an illusion, a beautiful sleight of hand performed with light itself. And even the blue in a person's eyes is part of this same wonder. There is no blue pigment in a blue eye. Blue eyes are blue for much the same reason the sky is the way they scatter light. And remarkably, scientists believe that long ago, every single human being on Earth had brown eyes, and that all blue-eyed people today may share a single common ancestor, one person in whom a tiny change first appeared thousands of years ago. So if you have blue eyes, or love someone who does, you are looking at a small, living echo of the sky's own trick, passed quietly down through countless generations. So let us look back, my friend, at the strange and colorful journey we have taken together. We started by looking up at a blue sky and a blue sea, and discovering the astonishing truth that for most of history, humanity could barely see them as blue at all. We wondered at ancient poets who called the sea wine dark, and cultures with no word for blue. We watched the Egyptians become the first to manufacture a piece of the sky. We followed a precious stone from a distant mountain, ground into a paint worth more than gold, and saved for the robes of heaven itself. We saw a brilliant blue born by pure accident in a laboratory. And finally, we watched this once priceless color become so common that it now colors the jeans upon your legs. And here is the quiet part, the part that is really about you. The story of blue teaches us something profound about how we see the world. For thousands of years, blue was there in the vast sky, in the endless sea, and yet people could not fully see it, because they had no name for it, and no way to hold it in their hands. It makes you wonder, my friend, what else is right in front of us, every single day, that we cannot quite see simply because we have never learned to notice it, or to name it? Perhaps there is beauty all around you at this very moment, as vast and constant as the sky, that you have looked straight through your whole life. The story of blue is a gentle reminder to look again at the ordinary world, to truly see it, because sometimes the most wonderful things are not hidden far away. They are hiding in plain sight, as close and as constant as the color of the sky, just waiting for us, at last, to notice them. Now tell me which part surprised you the most. That ancient poets never called the sky blue, that blue paint was once worth more than gold, or that the most beloved blue of all was discovered by accident. Write it in the comments below. I truly love hearing which part stayed with you. And before you go, let me leave you with a small riddle for our next story. Picture something wild and dangerous and beautiful, something that gives warmth and light, that cooks our food and forged our tools, and that, more than any other single thing, may have turned our distant ancestors into human beings. What could it be? Come back soon, and we will find out together.